Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to this special Existential Hope Salon, which is the launch of a project very dear to my heart, which is the Foresight NFT Gallery, Lab Gallery. So before we present you the gallery, a bit of context for this project, which is in the framework of existential hope. The fact that we are at a critical moment in the history of humanity, a very different world is currently being born. And the rate at which this is happening is actually accelerating, bolstered by exponential technology. What will the future behold for us? This is entirely up to us. And that's what is really important to understand. It's an inescapable responsibility, but it's also a completely elating potentiality. And this is the foundational idea of existential hope. It's that a better world is possible, and it's on us to build it. And to do that, we need to be able to envision what we want to create, right? It seems simple like that, but actually sometimes it can be really difficult to think outside of the status quo, right? Outside of the current context. And that's why we think that art is really important in this process, because in breaking the boundaries of our imagination, art is an extremely powerful lever. Aesthetic inputs have the power to transform our understanding and inspire creative action. By tickling a different part of our minds, art gives us a taste, a snippet sometime where we experience what could be instead of what is. And that is what opens previously unimaginable possibilities, previously unimaginable flourishing that can be integrated through an aesthetic experience. And then once that happens, there is no going back. The mind knows that something different and better is possible. And from there, well, it's just about how we make it happen. And this is why we created the Foresight Lab Gallery. So our gallery that we are going to present you pairs artists and scientists to inspire interest and accelerate progress in science through art. Perhaps you're wondering why an NFT gallery, and that is an excellent question. And this is because NFTs are at the forefront of a new paradigm powered by decentralized technologies. With this NFT gallery, we provide a new direct way to communicate and fund science and technological innovation. So if you know us, you know that at Foresight, we focus on accelerating the very edge of technological innovation. And advancing early stage research can be super hard because the funding relies on complicated legacy institutions. And so the funding can be difficult to access. It can be costly in terms of time and resources for the researchers, right, who would need to focus on their research. And this makes it so that institutions take a cut and not all the money is directed to the researchers. But with decentralized technology, right, like that Foresight is building on with this lab gallery, we directly connect technology innovators, digital creators, and philanthropists who become art collectors. And we do that by sharing breakthrough scientific ideas, allowing investment in high impact projects and exhibiting them. The gallery is directly distributing funding to all its stakeholders, the artists, the scientists, and the curators. And so shortly before we present the collection, the visionary science and the art it is made of. I would like to express all my gratitude to the humans who contributed to this wonderful project. First of all, our brilliant scientists for their relentless work, redefining the edge of innovation for the benefit of life. So Jean Hébert, Daniel Yves, Émile Kendiora, who I think, I see Daniel is here with us today, and maybe Émile and Jean Hébert will join us. Oh, Jean Hébert is here, okay, too, yes. Then I would like to thank our visionary artists who are not here today, but thank you to them for sharing their mind-opening vision and transposing them into inspiring creations. And finally, our lab creative team, Alexandra Smilek and Soliman Lopez, who, for sharing their incredible skills in making dreams realities and making this gallery happen. So before Alexandra shares the presentation of the new collection with us, maybe Daniel and Jean Hébert, you want just to say a word about yourself and your research work in 1 minute? And for those who at Foresight don't know you yet, I'm sure some have seen you in our calls and groups here, but yeah, just say hello. You can unmute yourself.
Sheen, do you want to go first or shall I go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Daniel from Cambridge, UK. I work on something called cellular reprogramming. So it turns out that there is biology that can reverse your age from like even supercentenarian status down to 0, but it's a big black box. And we want to figure out what's in that box. You know, basically, let's figure it out and make the most of it. So that's something that I'm doing with my little company called Shift. So I think this is really cool, this effort, because, you know, you have an artwork that speaks to the future and somebody, you know, connects with that and actually makes that future more possible. So, you know, maybe in the future we have all these you know, pictures in a gallery and somebody chooses the future they want, right, by choosing that artwork. It's a neat concept. So I appreciate everybody that's involved, and you know, I don't know what's going to happen on the other side, but I think it's very worthwhile. It's an experiment in itself, which, you know, I love experiments, so happy to be part of it.
Amazing, thank you, Daniel. And yeah, same philosophy, love experiments, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen, but I have a feeling it's going to be good things. Jean.
Yeah, thank you guys for putting this together. It's a great idea. Yeah, so I'm a scientist. I do research on in the area of tissue engineering and tissue replacements as a form of reversing all forms of age-related damage. And we're focusing on the brain in particular because that's the most important part of who we are. And even for the brain, tissue replacements are possible if done slowly, progressively over time. So that's what we're working on and we're interested in, and can't wait to see what you guys have done.
Thank you, Jean. And actually, Soliman, maybe you want to introduce yourself. So Soli is both an artist who participated in building this collection and participated in building the gallery. So a main character here. And thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you, Lou, and thank Alexandra for having me on board this project. I was really excited from the very beginning when Alexandra told me about the possibility to work with the Foresight Institute and with those amazing people behind a super project, the Institute in general. And also thanks for those scientists that I think that they are opening our minds in many different ways. And me as an artist, I was really clear about how science should be integrated in art and how art should be integrated in science. So it's one of the base of this project. The idea is also to make a challenge about how science itself, it could be some kind of curator and could be some kind of topic to talk about, and mostly in this kind of situation that we are now living with the NFTs environment, that everything is like a very visual, but there's not a concept in many times. You know, we are just bored to see many different images that are not telling us nothing in different ways. So the Lab Gallery is trying to create like a branch on that, and proposing something new about that. And my practice, I think that you could find it in the drop. Now with the project Olia, that it's an olive oil that contains the DNA of a smart contract from a cryptocurrency that we have done. So now possibly in the future you will drink an olive oil with a cryptocurrency inside. So maybe you will be more powerful than ever. So anyway, that's my concern about these topics: how we can materialize the digital, how we can connect those different economies, the agriculture that was the most ancient one, and the new ones that are based in the blockchain. So very happy to be here and to hear more about the rest of the people who is in the panel.
Wonderful, thank you, Soli. And last but not least, Alex Smilek, who is our artistic director and curator of the collection, will introduce themselves and the collection, hopefully.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Daniel, Jean. Thank you so much, Soliman, to be on my side and really helping me putting all this experiment together. We are really, really happy to launch this gallery. So I will quickly pass on to the presentation now. And I hope you will enjoy this experiment. I think it's going to be really something new, because as Soliman told us, this is a way we were looking for a way to really combine science with art, and really trying to dig into this in-between space, you know, really to open our imagination and really to access to some problematics that can be raised through science and art. So I'm really glad to launch this experiment. We will be launching in San Francisco, but today you will have a full, presentation of what we created for this first launch. So without further explanation, let me show you the presentation. So welcome to the Lab Gallery that accelerate beneficial futures by collecting art. So for this Lab Gallery, we really wanted to create crypto art inspired by science, and we were looking for some mechanics to really be at the unique intersection of science and art, and really enable the sciences to be in contact with the artist, and also really offer to collectors and funders the possibility to make a philanthropic impact while collecting art. So with our collection, we are combining two very important forms of art. We have scientific records that you're going to discover. Those scientific records were made by our fellows, Jean, Daniel, and Emile for this first collection. And we are combining those records with artistic creations. In terms of mechanics, so basically what we are trying to do, and Lou, you explained it very well, we are trying to decentralize the way we could fund science. So it's a first step in this sort of experiment. And we hope we will have many other opportunities to really expand this experience of decentralizing science funds. So let's discover our first collection that we will drop on the 4th of December, physically in San Francisco and online on the platform OpenSea. So the first collection is called Creative Nature of Total Synthesis. Because my accent is quite awful, I am relying on the robot to read the curatorial text of it. So let's jump on it and let's listen to it.
Ideas once confined to speculation are becoming reality. Lab Gallery is bridging science and art by opening a transdisciplinary dialogue, asking how visionary artworks might transpose visionary research in nanotechnology and biotechnology. In this first NFTs collection, Creative Nature of Total Synthesis, we look closer at the concept of organically synthesized and designed life. This exhibition intends to understand the creative nature of total synthesis, and how today, more than ever, our imagination can lead to synthesized living materials, whether plants, tissues, body parts, cells or mesmerizing creatures. Organic synthesis is the creation or modification of life achieved through nano and biotechnology. RNA, proteins, and nanorobots are today paving the path towards a new chapter for humanity. The power to build and modify living organisms we can imagine is a revolution that represents a tremendous potential for humanity. Wielding such a powerful tool demands we look closer at our own imaginative power and bring some foresight into our visions. We do that by leveraging art as the field where imagination can be freely unleashed, and science as the field where the highest ideals can be realized. Our digital artists ask our scientists a question, that of what we can totally synthesize, whereby they open creative and radical avenues for scientific practice. In Creative Nature of Total Synthesis, imagination meets life, science meets aesthetic. How can we reach longevity and what would be the beauty of it? Can we sequence life to produce the future of life? Can we create new creatures? What becomes of my identity if my body parts are replaced? Can we reach new sustainability through biodegradable, living cellular materials?
So let's jump on the first artwork of this collection with our 3 fellows that we are funding thanks to the auctions of NFTs, Daniel, Jean, and Emile. So we have very, very outstanding artists that are part of this collection. So we have Jonathan Monaghan that you will discover shortly, Baron Lantaigne, you will discover him shortly also, Drew Berry, Soliman Lopez, who is also my co-artistic director for this gallery, and Whitney Berghaun as well, part of this collection.
If we choose to, we will one day soon be able to replace all our old and broken body parts with new ones to extend our lives indefinitely. We might wonder how body part replacements will change who we are as a person. But even now, we could be asking this question. Am I who I was a year ago? A decade ago? How about 50 years ago? The answer is that we are already continuously changing, growing, and ultimately degenerating as individuals. Change defines the brain more than any other body part. Our brains have evolved to be plastic substrates for the ever-morphing symphonies of our minds. Memories and functions are relentlessly modified to adapt to new experiences and create new harmonies. This plastic nature means the brain itself is replaceable, if done piece by piece over time without changing who we are as a unique, evolving individual. If we choose to, we will soon be able to continue learning and growing for much longer than we ever thought possible.
So thank you, Jean Hebert, for this beautiful soundscape that goes along those 2 NFTs made by Joan Baron Lantaigne and Drew Berry. Okay, let's jump to the next one.
One of life's mysteries is why we age, but to our surprise, Every cell in our body has the ability to turn back the clock. To understand this, and to control this, would provide everyone the choice to die young, after a very long time. We're at the beginnings of the science, and it's gonna be a fantastic challenge. But if we can get the science right, we will be healthy enough, for long enough, to explore new frontiers in time and space.
Thank you, Daniel, for this text that was written by a robot, but a very young robot that I think is reflecting your research at the same time. And thank you for Jonathan Monaghan to work on this beautiful video. He made this video especially for this collection, and it's a mesmerizing creatures that seems to be created in a laboratory, looking to reflect the future and looking to reflect the young generations.
Wouldn't it be amazing to see a time when a fair society is built, when terminal diseases can be cured, when humanity is a multiplanetary species?
So thank you, Emile. I think Emile is not part of the school, but we thank him for this beautiful also insight and elevating speech. Read by also a robot that makes total sense with his research. He's a fellow research in cancer, and I think he's making beautiful things. And Drew Berry, the artist who made this work, was really inspired by his research.
Emile might join us at some point. I think he's flying and is between two flights, but
okay,
he made all.
And then we have Whitney Berghaun. So those images are also our NFTs, part of this first collection. As you can see, those are like body parts that looks like encapsulated and ready to replace our current body parts. So Whitney is really questioning also our identity and the ability to be ourselves through all the regeneration, through all the replacement of our body parts that are going to be possible in the future. And then, last but not least, our co-artistic director and artist Soliman Lopez is also part of this beautiful collection. So let's discover his work. Soli, do you want to talk a little bit more about your work and how you combine DNA and bioart and digital arts, especially in this piece?
Yes, for sure. That where you are looking now, it's the representation of this drop of olive oil that contains inside the molecule of synthesized DNA that contains the binary code of a cryptocurrency. So with Olea, I mean, you can find the real olive oil that we are now producing in the laboratory of the FAT in Sevilla, in Spain, in collaboration with the Minister of Agriculture in Spain. And also you can find this collection of NFTs that are representing this idea in the virtual spaces. That's its, let's say, how this virtual drop is occupying different metaverses and how you can evolve, how you can see this evaluation of the drop in these non-gravity spaces. Finally, the way to get the cryptocurrency token, it's through the NFTs. Voila, it's now, this is the third space of the collection. It will be 10 of them. And it's just a small animation that you can see how this drop is evaluating in this virtual space. In this case, it's some kind of extraterrestrial landscape that it's moving in relation with let's say at the same rhythm of the drop. And now we are planning a new exhibition in Karachi Biennial for the next year that could be more like an installation where we will see like a fontaine that is reacting to the blockchain and it's dropping and pumping the olive oil when those transactions are happening in real time.
Thank you. So all those artworks and those elevating speeches made by our fellows are going to be available on OpenSea starting from the 4th of December. We will also have an exhibition room that will be quite immersive during the Vision Weekend in San Francisco, where you're going to be able to enter and have and be surrounded by all those artwork and also surrounded by the sound of the podcast made by the scientists. So we are really also looking forward to meet you physically if you would be there at San Francisco. You can visit the website. You have a QR code here, so you can scan it and visit our website. You can find there all the first collection, the editorial guideline of this collection. And also you can scan this QR code where you will be able to share all the collection, buy the NFTs, invite people to buy the NFTs, and all the funds are redistributed to the scientists and to the artists to really like foster the vision of the futures and the scientific research. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I am sharing the link to Vision Weekend tickets in case you want to join the event and participate in the physical launch and many other fascinating talks and endeavors in technological innovation. Connect with our broad community. This is the event where all our members, our speakers, our fellows, our accelerator projects meet for a weekend and like jam and connect and make new friends and expand their horizons together, working on breakthrough innovations and technologies. And yes, so Guy asked actually how much were the artworks, Alex, and like what is the first starting price of the bids?
So all the artworks are related to the current prices of each of the artists, because most of our artists are already part of the NFT art ecosystem. Most of our artists are part also of big collections such as the Victoria and Albert Museum, the Palais de Tokyo in Paris. So each of the artworks are going to have starting bid price according to each of the identity and the prices of the artist. But it will range from 0.5 ETH for some of the artists up to 1.5 ETH for some of the artists. And yeah, quick words. I can see that a lot of people are reacting to the artists, are suggesting also other collaboration. Just a quick word about that. We are launching this. We found the mechanic. We are dropping the first collection. And obviously, we are already working on the second collection. We are always looking for inspiring artists, creators that can also be, I can see architects, for instance. We are working with bio artists such as Soliman Lopez, who are combining the DNA and the digital art, and we will be continuing working with outstanding bio artists, but also digital artists, and also like fashion designers. So we will have like many different collections and always trying to refresh the vision of science and how science can inspire the art field, and really trying to always provide meaningful collections and fund more and more research for our fellows.
Yes, this is very much just the beginning and the launch of this project, and we hope it goes much further. Are there any questions or further questions on the gallery? You can unmute yourself and chime in directly if so. Nope. Everything is crystal clear. Okay, wonderful. Well, Alex, what do you know about bioart? I see that there is a lot that is discussed here.
So bioart, as you might know, is a really strong field right now. It started around the 70s with an artist called Eduardo Cac. He's from France. We are actually in discussion with him to be able to work with him on some of our collections. So we are really looking forward also to have pioneer of this field. The bioart is really interesting because it's a multifaceted way of creation, and it's also the opportunity for the artist to solve problem, actually, because when you are thinking about what is Mary Oxman doing, for example, she's creating wearables and fashion collections with clothes made out of living cells. So it could also be potentially the possibility to rethink our industry of fashion, really provide a new form of fashion that will avoid to have this fast fashion that is like really unsustainable at the moment. Bioart is really also something that is important in the architecture and design, because we are always producing, but producing with living particles, living cells, thinking about biodegradable creation is something that could solve also many problem of sustainability. It could also create a new link between science, the human, and the creation. We could also have wearables as living part on us. We can think about this image of the unicorn in such a new way, because like the unicorn is somehow like becoming a reality at the moment and becoming something that we can create in laboratories in the future. So it's really like opening a lot of fields, solving problems, and it's a very dynamic field of creation in the art. So this is one of our focus at the Lab Gallery. But meanwhile, we are also working with digital artists to work on the fact that we can create with decentralized system. We can provide also this strong decentralized market for digital art. When I started to create digital art 10 years ago, no one wanted to buy it because we couldn't find the solution to create an original, and there is like no point to buy an artwork if it's not yours and if you cannot forge it. So I think like lots of like scientific research that Foresight is actually supporting are also really, really present in the work of all the artists that we're gonna work with. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
And actually, I have a question in the chat. Someone asked me if we take submissions and applications or proposals for the NFTs. And
for sure.
I mean, as we said, like this is just the very beginning of this project, and we are here to shape it together with this community. So we are very much welcoming feedback, propositions, suggestions. Tanya, do you want to like tell us? I don't want to put you on the spot, so it's fine if you don't want to share, but maybe you have something you want to tell us about what an idea of what you want to do could be.
Oh my goodness, you did put me on the spot.
Sorry.
No, this is good. This is healthy. No, I'm planning on a series. I have lots of things in the making, but I love collaboration. So that's why I was just inquiring, because I'm just looking to see what's out there, and how to participate with a group as well, because you know a lot of this can be very solitary. Digital work. But my background is in, you know, well, I lost my eye in a car accident, and I wanted to augment it and create a camera eye. So I was thrust into the cyborg world, and then found myself learning about foresight and all of this. But identity and future selves and post-human, all of that are interesting things to talk about. But I am also a visual artist, and I'm working with some machine learning and different, just experimenting. So anyway, that's some of the stuff I'm working on. So hopefully I could send you guys something soon.
Thank you, Tanya. That would be amazing. I think Soliman just shared on our group chat our email, so we can continue this discussion and see how we can collaborate. Obviously, like the heart of the lab gallery is collaboration, because we are like trying to gather very different identities of people, very different technologies and research and creation. So we are really like at the beginning of it, and really curious to engage with different creators.
Yeah.
Look, I would like to add something about the BioArt, because I was listening to Alex. I think that she did like a good overview about this. But I would like to add also, because I'm experimenting with this for the latest 5-6 years more deeply. And finally, what I'm finding is that in the next future, we are going to see how the digital is very really connected with the code of ourselves. I mean, with the exponential multiplied by 2 of the quantum physics and quantum computing, we are now noticing that everything will be multiplied by 2. And finally, when you see when the binary code is multiplying by 2, the result is 4 elements. That is our DNA. So finally, I think that we are more than ever close to really understand that we are humans, but we are technology itself. You know, I mean, so this is one of my point of research, and I think that thanks to technology, we are creating tissues for the brain, and finally come from technology, and finally we are producing something that is coming from the digital and becoming biological, tangible. So I think that that we are going to be very surprised with many different artworks and papers that are going to talk about this. And for sure, in the lab gallery, I think that will be a really center point of thinking.
Thanks.
Maybe Jane could say something about that.
About the tissue replacements for the brain? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd like to first emphasize that it's not an easy problem. The brain is, you know, as we know, super complex, but it's a doable problem. There's no biological reason we can't engineer functional brain tissue. It involves a lot of expertises that we need to bring together to make it happen. But, you know, with help from people like you and others, I think we will. So, thanks.
That sounds amazing.
And I wonder if Daniel and Jean, you have thoughts on the function of like communicating science better, and has this been like something that has slowed down your progress sometime, like being able to share more widely what you are working on? And do you think maybe it's a pointed question, but do you think humanity would benefit from better scientific communication? And if so, do you have thoughts on how it could be achieved?
Yeah, I'll say a few words on this. So I spend most of my time now trying to communicate, what we're doing at the front lines and why that means something. It's most of my time I spend. I wish I could spend more time back on the experiments, but it's mostly communication now. So any ways to help that. And I think, for instance, there's a YouTube artist that I'm a big fan of called Melody Sheep. And so he basically presents, scientists' words with videos and music sort of behind it. And there's particular emphasis on certain bits of narrative. So it's like, the emotion locks in that piece of information in your head. It's like combining the two makes it a lot more powerful. And I think that's a great tool, right? When you're trying to get something across and there's a lot of learning that needs to be done, you need to use all the tools available. So if you can activate an emotion whilst talking about something, that person's going to remember it, and then they're going to be able to build on that and appreciate what's significant. So like communication is, one of the biggest bottlenecks. Like I need a lot of help with communication. Typically I don't communicate well as a scientist. We don't do that very well traditionally. So this is really helpful, sort of, bring in a different dimension and sort of help me get a message across. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's a very useful thing.
Oh, wonderful. Just before Jean, I see that you unmuted yourself.
I just agreeing with Daniel. Well said, Daniel.
Yeah, it was very much well said. Can you say again the name of the project you mentioned?
Melody Sheep.
Sorry?
Yeah, so it's a YouTuber called Melody Sheep, and my favorite video is called Time Lapse of the Future. So it basically talks about the future from now until the end of time. And it's a sort of fantastic soundtrack. I think Melody Sheep used to be a DJ, and then he got more interested in science, and then he basically applies his skills to science communication now. And there's something similar. Alexandra showed me. It was, I think it was Stephen Hawking talking, and then I can't remember who the artist was, but it's bringing the two together makes it so much more powerful. So I'd recommend, looking up Melody Sheep if you want to get an idea of what I'm talking about. But obviously, this is part of the same effort, right? Trying to get some really interesting things across to a general audience in a very short amount of time. So we need all the tools available to do that.
Wonderful. I'm trying to find the YouTube video, but I'm not finding it. If someone finds it, please post it in the chat for everyone's enjoyment.
I'm going to post it in the chat right now. Just give me 1 second.
Cool. Thank you. Yay. Jean, did you want to add on to this? Maybe share about your experience in communicating your research.
No, I mean, Daniel hit on all the points. It is it takes up a lot of time. It's part of what we do as scientists. We need to communicate to raise funds, and the less we would need to communicate, the more science we would be able to do, and the faster it would move. And so venues like the one that Daniel is posting in the chat, and what you're doing, and what others are doing, I think are really important and greatly appreciated by us.
I mean, we relate also to this problem. I think at Foresight, we often, we spend the majority of our time like doing the work, and we are still like sometime finding that we have to communicate about our work in order for people to come and support us and join this community. So it's always a hard balance to achieve, and can be distracting, but mostly we work for sure. Melody Sheep. Okay, great. Thank you, Daniel, for posting it. Okay, any more questions or feedback or hopes and dreams about this gallery? And you're super welcome to ask right now in the chat or unmute yourself. Otherwise, we'll close the call here. Alex, is there any last word you have for us?
I would say that we're going to keep continuing trying to find new way of communicating about the scientific research. And by doing that, we're going to also trying to be physically present with some exhibition in the near future. So we hope to be present as South by Southwest at the Web Summit and at the Ars Electronica, also a big festival dedicated to digital art. So for us, it's really a mean to be present within the crypto ecosystem, but at the same time also to try to reach out to a new audience that don't know a lot about nano biotechnologies, decentralized technologies, and so forth and so on. So yeah, and we are really trying to speak to the heart of the people through aesthetics, speak to the heart of the people through elevating speeches made by scientists. And I think this is key for us in this experiment. But yeah, I'm really looking forward also for this upcoming physical exhibition. And as Soliman said, today bioart is really connecting the coding sphere and the physical sphere. And I hope we will be able to really highlight some bio art sculptures made thanks to scientific research, some transhumanistic robotic sculpture and artworks as well, and also like maybe highlight the way we could, for instance, work with AI in a creative way. So we have like many different fields to explore, and so, yeah, this is an exciting beginning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And actually, we have some questions in the chat. Cheryl, you wanted to offer a perspective. Please do.
I just wanted to say that the problem that we're describing here from the scientist perspective that is being met by artists is also a challenge for those of us who are go-to-market strategists, who spend all of our time communicating and engaging creativity, community, and commerce, and searching for meaningful and purposeful projects worth communicating about. So I just want you to know that there are those of us over here who spend our lives communicating, who are also looking for you.
Oh.
Well, you found us now.
We are real, eh? We are real, you know, bones and everything.
I mean, at least part of our team is an AI, but yeah, and what are the boundaries of that? I think it's really nice. Does it matter if we are real? Okay.
Lou, there was another question that I think that we missed from Graham Vasiliou.
Yes, I saw it actually. Graham, maybe you want to ask it directly, and I don't know if you wanted to direct it at someone in particular, but I'll let you chime in.
Thanks, Lou. Yeah, no, this is just more of a general reflection, but it had me thinking about, you know, wow, like, okay, in what contexts, you know, would a visualization, a 3D model, like some very stunning work in there, actually impact the more technical side of synthetic biology, right? Would there be something that it would be so inspirational that it would actually uncover this more scientific side of things, and just, yeah, the interrelationship it's very provocative work. So just a general reflection.
Sorry, do you want to?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think that we have been working from the surface of the reality. For example, when in the very beginning of the avant-garde proposal, for example, impressionism, hyperrealism, and blah blah blah, all the ism, we were focused in the surface of things. And now we are going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper to understand how means macro and micro and micro. And I think that all those physics computing and all those SCI effect that we can reach with thanks to 3D softwares are more powerful than ever, because finally we can imagine how things are working and are evolving in those microsystems, microsystems, sorry. And so finally we can connect the reality thanks to technology to the real things that are there but we cannot see. For example, now thanks to computing, we can imagine how vast is the universe in terms of space. You can even experiment it in virtual reality. You can analyze it and you can feel it in a way. So finally, I think that for sure that the role of 3D reproduction and production in the next future will be a key of understanding of our reality. And also I'm proposing, for example, a new term that is V-reality with V, that it's more than, okay, we have a gadget for analyzing the reality. No, the digital, it's already in our regard, it's already in our sight, foresight, let's say. So finally, the digital, it's already inside of us. So, thanks to this reconstruction of the reality, thanks to that, we have, for example, when you talk about Paris, you are not watching the Paris of the 60s. You are now watching Paris through Google Maps, and now you have a range of the city that it's part of your brain, but it's a visualization that it's coming from this a 3D world or 3D software. So I think that the role of those technology could be hyper important in the next future, in my opinion.
Yeah, and what you said also, Graham, is that we are really trying to set this dialectic between the 3D modeling and visualization and the biology and the science. And this dialectic is now like we set the ecosystem and maybe like the plan where we can like communicate together. So we are really looking forward to see how this gallery can involve within the studios of scientists and artists, and how like this dialectic can really become something. So that's why it's really a beginning, and that's why we really wanted to keep this like transversality between art and science. And that's why we really wanted also at the same time with this collection to keep this strong identity of artists and the strong identity of scientists, not like, having like some visuals to just represent scientific research, because this is not dialectic. It's just like representation or illustration of a research, a scientific research. Here you have something weird. You have some friction in between those two fields. So this is what we are looking for in order to really, I hope, be able one day to say, okay, this guy inspired this, this research because he made this 3D or this visualization. And in reverse, also like this scientist inspired this visualization. I think it's really important. And in terms of communication, people and the audience cannot understand and cannot have so much time to read all the scientific paper, but in like a snippet, like we are trying to do, you can grasp some concept, you can feel it. So this is what we are trying to build through the lab gallery as well.
Wonderful word for the end. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you again, everyone who participated to launching this project. I can't wait to see where this is going. I can't wait to see you all at Vision Weekend, I hope, either in what we call meat space, but we need a better term for that because it's not good for vegetarians. And cyberspace, you are part of our Foresight supporters and associates, and you should all have received an invite to a virtual Vision Weekend, because we will also have live streams of all our events happening in the US and France. If you have not, or you have any question, you can reach out to me at lou@foresight.org. And yeah, I'll see you at the next Existential Hope Salon, which will be a special session during Vision Weekend next week. In the meantime, have a really good time, everyone. Wishing you wonderful days, nights, wherever you are. And yeah, can't wait to see you next. Bye-bye.